Hmm. Hey everyone, what's up? It's a beautiful Sunday, lazy day, and I'm just hanging in the shop. I thought I would just go live on a whim like I talked about the other day or yesterday or the other day, I don't know when. I'm a shaky dude. I have to be careful here. Yeah, real careful. Let me finish this A and I will get to you. I gotta set my tablet up. I made some cool things today. Well, anyways, I should stop. It looks like there's a few people on here, so I better get to what I'm doing here. Let's see. Where am I? It's not going to show me. Am I live or am I not? What's going on? Oh, there I am. Okay. Whoops. Okay. All right. So, let me get up here. Hey, there y'all are. I knew you were here somewhere. So, yeah, so today is beautiful, beautiful Sunday. I'm wearing a t-shirt. Oh yeah, check out this t-shirt. Sandpoint, Idaho. Because I went to Sandpoint one day. But yeah, I decided that like I'm just like piddling around. But I got to work on that Santa belt. And I got that new font I showed you guys. Let me see, no chats yet. So this is what it looks like before I start tooling. I did already carve. You know, I traced the lettering. I wish the traffic would take a day off, right? It's Sunday. Everybody go home. Go home and make a YouTube video. That's what everybody needs to do. Okay? Quit driving up and down my street. So I got that Santa font for the Santa belt, and I decided, and I usually do this with all projects. I'll put it on leather, like I was talking about the other day with the eagle. Put it on everything. Crazy traffic. I guess they got somewhere to be or to go. I miss the mountains. I miss it so bad. I used to have 20 acres. I lived up there for 25 years. The neighbors were far away. You couldn't see them. You could barely hear them most days. I bet they could hear my house a lot with all the kids I had. But I really missed that. I've been here now a little over 20 years at this place, and I can't get used to the traffic. I really can't. It's crazy. If I would have known, right? If I would have known. Anyways, I decided that I better practice on the font. So this one's tooled, and I'm working on the tooling on that one, and these are untooled. But so I thought I would, get busy, at least try out this font right here, and this is what I'm using, and they call it a beveler. And so that's what you use to knock down that edge and make the lettering stand out. Because when you first trace it and then carve it, it doesn't stand out. Once you start tooling it, that's when you really start. That's the part. This is the part I love about doing leather, is the tooling. I love it. But yeah, that's the little tool. Look at that thing. Is that little or what? Can you imagine going around everything you carve, like all those roses and everything, and knocking down that edge to make everything pop out? Hi, Della Carter. How are you? How is it way over there in the other side? Is it dark over there? Yeah, so I also started putting together some more lighter cases. And this is the most popular one, of course, right? This is the most popular one. And somebody was telling me I could go around to the smoke shops, and this is my popular one. And I'm actually going to keep this one because I usually finish the leather and put dye on it to different colors. And then I finish the edge so it's nice and smooth when you pick it up. But usually I'll dye an antique so that the antique gets down in the little grooves, but this is all natural. The only thing I did to it was carve a border, put the guns, sew it up, finish the edge. And I want to see how. I think these might turn out real nice. You know what I mean? I think the patina and everything that's coming onto this, I think it's going to turn out beautiful. Just by, it'll get a suntan, just like we suntan it. It's skin, right? So if you leave it in the sun, it'll get a suntan. And, and this one I pressed pretty good in there, so it comes out pretty good. Finish the edge. And I used a really thick wax thread instead of like the more narrow stuff. This stuff is thick. Like, I'll show you here. So this is what I normally use, and you can see it's a really tight, and it's wax as well. You can see how it stands up and bends. It's waxed, but not real heavy wax. And this is normally what I use. And I like white. I don't know why, but I just do. But I have all the colors. Now look at this one. This is really heavy, and it'll take some abuse. And this is what I use on holsters and knife sheaths, and I make the holes a little bit bigger. And this is what I used on here. Now let's see if I can find the one I used. This one I used this. It's thinner. I don't know if you can see it. It's not as thick. You see the difference? Not as thick. I mean, that looks good and everything, but it also, I think these will get more abuse, so I thought I would try this thicker thread, way thicker. You can see the difference. It's just so much thicker. And probably TMI, right? Nobody cares really, but that's what I made these. Probably it took me maybe a couple of hours to do all of them. And my sister just showed up. But yeah, I thought, it's a lazy Sunday. I'm feeling pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, it's dark in England. I'm gonna have to go to bed. No, you're not in England, right? Are you? Or are you in Scotland? I can't remember. But I know you've been following me a long time, and I thank you and I love you. And on Facebook. Love you. But So that's what I'm doing in the shop. And then yesterday I went yard sale hopping. Check this out. And I found this lamp for $2. And it's a Queen Anne, pretty old. I already wiped it. I already cleaned it up a little bit. It has paint speckles on it, so I'm gonna have to kind of rub the paint speckles off. And then I'm gonna need to clean. I thought I tried vinegar. Adolf told me vinegar, but it didn't do anything. And then somebody told me put some of the oil, lamp oil in it, and see if that would do anything. And it doesn't seem to be. I'm gonna have to. I think Dawn liquid. Whatever you call it, detergent. I think that's what I'll probably use in some. Okay, England. Yeah, $2. Can you believe that? I bought a bunch of stuff for $2 yesterday. Everything was $2, and I didn't have the heart to talk them down on it. Yeah. And these are the needles I use to sew with. I know now I'm sharing dumb stuff, but they're pretty fat. It's kind of hard to get, once you get that thread on there, to get it through those little holes. Yeah, so I thought I would share that. But I went yard sale hopping yesterday, and I bought a few things. $2, $2. You can't beat it. I thought about going this morning, but I thought better of it, and I thought I would just come out here, and I made these little Bic lighter cases. Somebody was telling me to go to a smoke shop and pass these out to the people that work at the smoke shop and give them a business card. I don't have a business card, and I probably could sell the heck out of these, right? Hey, Ed. Hi, Darlene. It's not dumb stuff, huh? It seems like really dumb stuff to me, but I know a lot of people don't know how to do leather crafting, and I think it's a dying craft, to tell you the truth. Good morning, Digger. How's up? Hey, Adolf. Yeah, and Ed. Hey, man. So I got on, and then now I'm going to tell you, when I bought this, something was on my mind about that. And I wanted to share something else. Hold on. Smash, crash, bang. So Louis made that guitar and then sent me that guitar, and then I made the guitar strap. And I knew he was a wood crafting guy, right? And I asked him if he could make a tool holding block. And he made one. Look at that. It's got a little like tray, and it holds all my tools. And these are my main tools that I use all the time. I have some more, and I got a butterfly and a flower. And check this one out. This is, where did it go? I saw it. I don't see it now. Oh, it's upside down. There it is. Look at that one. This is another beveler. Can you see that? Look how little that is. That's for really tight flowering and tooling. And it just knocks down the edge. But look how narrow that is compared to this one. Okay, this is the one I'm using right now currently. But look at that. Look at the difference. I mean, this is small, right? That's small, but this one's really small for getting those little tight details. I use both of them a lot, and you can tell my hands are all jacked up. So I got these pencil cushions for pencils, and the tools are a little more narrow than a pencil, so I had to put tape. And all the tools I use the most, or a lot, is I put these little pads on, and it, like this one, this it's called a camouflage. That's what this is, camouflage tool. But I put them. Oh yeah, this one here. This is the basket weave. That's the basket weave. I have a couple of those. I think the one I used on this one is this one. I don't know if you could tell. But that's the one I did this one with. So you can see how long a basket weave could take you in. This is the little stamp, right, that you use. It takes a long time to do that. And then right here, that part right there, that's this one. Let's see if I can get that. That's that one. One at a time. Bink, 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 bink. Yeah. So I didn't mean on sharing all this stuff. I know it's kind of, not what everybody is up to. There, I have all these little things that I make, and then look at this one. This is another one, and I think he said it came out of an old organ. And I have, this is called a veiner. It makes leaf veins. I don't use this one a lot. I use these a lot. These are end punches, or like end round punches. I use those a lot, a whole lot. But I thought this is so cool. And this came from an organ, an old organ that he took apart. And I guess he uses some of that wood for those guitars. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. It's better than anything you can buy in the store, I'll tell you that. Thank you, Louie, so much. But I thought I would share that with everyone. So let me see here. Hey, Viper, what's up? Yeah, man, that tool block is pretty cool. And the smoke shop idea, that was my nephew that came up with that idea. Oh, I want to make sure I don't put that tool away. Got to keep this one. Got to keep that one because I'm going to use it right here. But yeah, so the lamp that I showed you right here, and I know some people came in now that haven't seen it. Okay, this is it's an oil lamp, kerosene oil lamp, and I probably would not have bought that normally. But everybody's been here. Y'all heard about this eclipse coming on April 8th. I have a gut feeling that the evil ones, the controllers, the slave owners, have something up their sleeve. And I think they're going to try to blame it on God and say it's a God thing. I mean, I just have a gut feeling about it. So I was telling my nephew this morning, we were talking, and he was asking about it because he's getting a gut feeling about it. Now, this guy works all the time. I know he doesn't listen to the news or anything, by the questions he was asking me, that he doesn't have a clue. But I guess he was talking to somebody that he works with, and they told him, hey man, you better get prepared and get some water and food and stuff like that, because you never know. And he was saying, am I prepared? Do I have, like, if something happens and he comes home, are we all prepared? And what could he do, right? So I saw the lamp, and I have a feeling all hell could really break loose on this April 8th thing, and we need to be prepared. I mean, I've been preparing for a decade, so I'm pretty prepared. But I have a few flashlights and a little lantern. But I thought these little kerosene burner lamps would be pretty cool to have sitting around, and they'll last hours and hours and hours. So you could set it up on a bookshelf or your TV stand or your nightstand, your dresser, and it won't give you enough light really to read by, but to be able to maneuver around your home or room that you're in, or whatever room you put it in, they'll work pretty good. So that when I saw the lamp and I saw $2, that's the first thing, that ran through my mind. Yeah, it's a Queen Anne. I think I was looking at it. It says Queen Anne on it. I'm pretty sure it's pretty old. At least as old as me. Yeah, and that's Ed. Hey, Ed, that's who I'm targeting. That's who I'm targeting. The potheads, right? The potheads. You know what's cool about these? I'm gonna sell them for $10. But what's cool about them is they fit really nice. You see that I have to kind of push it down? It will loosen up over time. It will loosen up with use, but it fits like a glove. I measure. It took me a while to get a measurement where after I sewed it that it would be tight like that. And this is the one I'm going to keep, and I already been pulling it in and out a few times. And actually, when it goes in, it has a little bit of a vacuum grip because there's no real hole in it. That just enough when you push it in not to compress the air, but when you pull it out, it kind of makes like I don't know, a suction. But this is the one I'm going to keep. I have no idea how these will look after it starts getting the patina and your hand oils start, sweat and hand oils and leaving it in the sun and dirt and grime and whatever. But that's who I'm targeting. I am targeting the ones that like the bong, and that's all about. That's what that's all about. That's what that's all about. And then I also have a bass or a trout jumping out of the water, and some other ones that, because a lot of people, not as many as used to be, smoke. But so I'm kind of targeting the smokers on this one, and I think it's pretty cool. And $10, can't go wrong. It'll last longer than the lighters, and probably last longer than the person that buys it. It'll last forever. But yeah, you do leather, Ed? Hey, I don't know if he's on here. Somebody emailed me about a 1022 cuff. Now, what I'm not sure, a lot of people use the cuff terminology in a couple of different ways. The way what I under what I use it for, and as I grew up, a cuff meant on the, say, like this is a rifle and this is the back part of the rifle. A cuff would be a wrap. What was a butt wrap on the rifle butt, but it would go around here, and then you could put loops for your bullets right here, or a magazine. Like if it was a type of rifle that you use a magazine with, you could put a couple of magazine pouches on it. What we called a pouch, not a cuff. But that cuff to me was that went around the back of the rifle. So if you watch this, kind of describe what it is that you're looking for your 1022. And I'm sure, I mean, I can make it and draw it. Like right now, um, my neighbor came over and he brought his 1911 pistol, 1911 45 military pistol. and he wants a holster like this. Now, this is a World War II holster from World War II. I knew what it was as soon as I saw it. And he's like, you can take it apart. He goes, I don't really want it. I don't need this holster. And you can take it apart. Well, this here is for like a 45 Colt revolver. Okay. It's not for a semi-automatic pistol. And I mean, it's old. This is a World War II era holster. It's not made, it wasn't made for the military so much as back in the day they made these because they were popular and everybody wanted these fold over holsters. So I made a couple of them way back in the day, and I just can't, I don't have the heart to tear this apart. And here's the lanyard that you put a piece of leather through and tie it around your leg to keep it from flopping around. But it, see right here, it used to have like a wire coming through it with some hooks on it. And if you remember, or you can look this up, I remember because I played Army Man or Army when I was a kid, combat, watching combat on TV. And they had the web belts and they had the eyelets like this on the belts. And what that wire was for, it's not on here now, but it was right there. And it had these two hooks that came out, and that was for hooking into the eyelets on the web belt. So, and he was wondering if I could do that. Well, I don't know where I would find, to make it totally a replica of the holsters then. I don't know where I would find those pieces of wire, but I don't have the heart to tear this apart and make it a pattern. This is older than me, right? And this is how leather, if you take care of it, leather can last a long time. This is like the 40s right here. This is from the 40s, right? Probably a decade and a half before I was born, maybe almost 2 decades before I was born. And I don't have the heart to tear it apart. But that said, I can, what I did. Okay, so what I did was I laid his pistol on my bench and I put this on it. Now this part right here is the top, and the sight right here and the sight right here, and then there's the hammer. Okay, and then I lay it down, this will give me the width, this part right here, and then this part, the profile, will give me the profile. And now I can measure around and draw this holster, a holster to fit that. And then what I did was I took the top part of this fold over and I just drew that, and I'll cut this out, and then when I draw the holster right here, I'll put that together, and that will be my fold over part. And pretty much with a little trial and error and doing it on paper, I'll be able to make a holster just like that to fit his 1911 military grade pistol. That it's beautiful. I mean, absolutely a beautiful pistol. I love guns and all that. Hey Kelly, how you doing? Are you in the other room? I'm just kidding. That's gonna disappear. Yeah. Hi Lisa, how are you? It is really nice outside. I'm guessing it's around getting up there towards 70 degrees right now, and enough where I'm in a t-shirt. I've been looking forward to this. I actually don't like the cold. I like summer. I mean, I'm not a real fan of 115, But I like it better than minus 115, if you know what I'm saying. Like cold, it makes it hard to do anything. And my leather shop is outside. It's actually just a leather bench, workbench, and I'm outside, and I rather be sweating my butt off than freezing my butt off. I can actually put a fan out here and one of those mister things, and have it spraying a little bit of water on me, and I'll be fine. And if it's really bad, I'm in the shade, so it's not that bad. But I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully, spring lasts a couple of months before it gets 115. It felt like a long winter out here, and if you're out here, the weird thing about the cold is sitting out here and a little breeze picks up, and pretty soon your icicles, your toes are just frozen, your fingers, like you're out here working with these little tools, and you can barely hold them because you're so cold you can't even feel the tool, right? I mean, it's just so cold. Okay, so back to this April 8th thing. There's something that occurred to me the other day. Like when you're thinking about false flags, and what would be a good time? What would be a good time to hurt a lot of people at one time, right? A football game, a concert. What about a solar eclipse where there's millions of people lined up to see it and coming outside? Wouldn't that be a great time? I think it would be. And that dawned on me, like, if there was a time the evil ruler, controller, ass bites want to do something, that's when. That's when. And like I was telling my nephew this morning, it doesn't hurt to be prepared, right? It doesn't hurt. If nothing happens, then you have extra stuff. But if something happens and you're not prepared, you're going to be a sorry person. And it's not going to be fun. And I'd rather be prepared and have nothing happen than be unprepared and have something happen. And then what? Then what? Right? So don't be the one that's the then what. Don't be that. Like I broke my antenna I broke an antenna that I have for my CB radio. Accidentally pulled the plug off that goes into the back of the CB. So now I bought a new plug, but like I was telling my nephew, I don't know how to solder. Okay, so I'm good at pretty much anything, but I never really soldered anything. And I was telling him, I wish I knew somebody that knew how to solder that was close by that could quickly and easily put that little plug on there. And I was telling him, well, I could probably teach myself. I mean, I teach myself everything else. Why not? I'm a plumber, an electrician, a carpenter, a leather crafter, a mechanic. I mean, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, really, So I probably could teach myself to do that. I'd rather not, but if I have to, I have to. And that's probably later on today. That's what I'm going to be doing, is fixing the plug to the CB. Because have you noticed that all the cell phones are getting updates, like crazy updates, lady? Even the computers, they're running updates like crazy. For what? Is it to help, or is it to be able to use it against us? I have a feeling it's going to be able to use this, and I think that they could use this solar eclipse thing to shut off the electricity, cell phones, the internet, gas station. I have a feeling they could shut everything off and blame it on whatever, like something weird happening with this solar eclipse. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying the best time to do something is when something like that happens, right? I mean, it just makes sense that when something happens like this, it's a great time to pull some shit out of your hat and make people hurt. And I never really sweated pipes, man, but I don't think it's really, I know enough to not touch the solder, and try to melt the solder on. I know enough that you actually heat the item you're wanting to solder, and then you put your solder on that, and then it melts on it. I mean, at least I think that's what goes on. I'm not sure. I have a couple of months of food stashed. It's all MRE type stuff, but in a pinch, all I need really is water, and I'll be able to feed myself for a couple months, me and a few people. So I'm set on that. I'm good. Yeah, if you don't have a CB, at least get yourself a walkie-talkie. Get a short band radio. The short band radio, you can hear the ham operators and other people on a CB, even though you can't talk to them. You'll be able to hear what's going on. Now, all the people that don't have that, they're going to be caught, and they will not know what's going on the next street over, or the next city over, or even what's going on in your general geographic area, because they have no access to find out. If at least have a shortwave radio so that you can listen in to the people on CBs and the ham operators, and maybe even the government using saying what they're doing, because they know not everybody will be able to hear what they're doing, and they're not worried about every last single person. They're trying to do a general roundup or whatever. They're trying to just generally, like a shotgun, hit everything. And with this solar eclipse, that's more like a rifle shot. I mean, you're not just spattering out there to hurt people and whatever hit. That is so precise. They can target right along that line where all these people are going to be stacked up nut to butt, and they could potentially do some serious damage. And I mean, the possibilities are endless on what could happen, right? And hey, Callie, what's up, Christian? Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the other day I touched on it, and I got this lamp now. Okay, I got this lamp. This is for, I didn't buy it because it looks pretty, and it doesn't have to have that gone. I am going to clean that out, but I'll figure out how to do it just so it will look prettier while I have it sitting out. I have a couple of more of those too, and the fuel is cheap. It doesn't take electricity. I need to get a wick for that. I'll probably do that in the next couple of days before the 8th. Before the 8th, get a bunch of water, get some canned food, soups, this and that, and put it away. And because I really feel like something might happen, and it's just smart to be prepared. If nothing happens, you got extra, go camping, right? Got extra, go camping. So there you are. That's my warning. I just have a feeling, and if you do any kind of search on the web or anything like that, you hear every freaking scenario, all the way from the Bible people all the way to the panic people on the internet, and everything in between. I mean, everybody's pulling out the big one, and I think they're doing it for views, but I'm not sure. Some people believe a lot of weird shit. But yeah, that's a good idea, Della. It was a good idea. I mean, have a few things around, and but only that basically I really wasn't going to talk too much about April 8th. I mostly wanted to share my little projects. You want to know something that this is something the leather people don't know. Okay, leather people have a hard time with this. Even guys that it's been, or people, guys and gals that's been doing it a while, when the leather is real wet, it is, let me spray it right here. Okay. Okay, so I sprayed it a little bit. Now you can see where I sprayed it. See how it's dark right here? And it's light right here. Okay, now, when it looks like that, don't tool. Do not tool when it looks like that. Like, you would not want to start tooling on this. Now, see how it's lighter, getting lighter on the edge right there? When the leather starts to come back to natural color, like this is too dry now, so in order to tool, I'll get it like real wet. And I'll spray it all up really good here. Get it dripping wet, let it soak in, and get the fibers inside. See how it goes in to the leather, the water soaks in, and now it's wet, real wet. If you start tooling like this on it when it's real wet, it's mushy and you don't get a crisp tool on it. But as it dries out and starts to come back to this color, that's when you start. And you'll know when it starts to dry out too much, you won't get the burnish around the darkening around the edge of your tooling. So that's when you want to moisten it again. But after you moisten it, don't start tooling it right away, because it'll be mushy and it'll be hard to get a good steady impression in it. I mean, it'll look like crap. Okay, wait for it to dry out and it's starting to come back to the natural color. And when you see that, I mean, you might have to wait a little while, but that water's still soaked in. Okay, it's still halfway down the leather. Even though this will come back to the natural color, it's still in the leather. And that actually is what makes your burnish with your tools, with your tooling. And a lot of people, they struggle. A lot of leather workers struggle with that. And they feel like they have to keep it soaking wet while they're doing it. And then when you look at their tooling, you're like, man, what in the world? You gotta, don't hit it so hard or something, and really it's because it's too wet. And it never will look right. The leather's more forgiving when it's not as wet, but then it gets harder to tool when it gets too dry. So when it starts to get too dry, moisten it down. Don't soak it. You can soak it real good the first time and then let it dry to natural almost, and then start tooling. When it gets too dry, moisten it, but then let it dry again, like I'm sitting here waiting, and it's starting to lighten up already, right? It's starting to lighten up like this. You can see where I got more water in it than right here. But I could actually start tooling over here. I would start tooling when it looks like that. When it looks like that, that's when right here it's not ready. You can see it starting to get ready. I know, TMI, and probably nobody cares, but just a little pointers if you decide that you want to try leather. And I encourage everyone to try. It is probably one of the coolest things, is you get to make cool things that people can use forever and ever and ever. Your grandkids, their grandkids, their great grandkids. I mean, just like that, this holster from like 1948, right? And this still can be used. If you had a revolver, a service revolver, if you had one, you can put this on your belt. It won't have the webbing wire for it, but You can put this on your belt. You can put your revolver in it, and you can pack it around. I could put a leather lanyard in this hole where you could strap it to your leg, and you could wear this. And what I like about these, another little thing about leather with these fold over cases, you don't have to wet mold it. And I love that he said I could have it. I love that he brought this to me because I needed the pattern for this part. That's what I drew on that paper. And then it even has a line where the fold is that I can use. And it has where the hole goes, and it has where the little stud goes that you put over it. You can still get these, but only you don't have to wet mold it. So I can make these, several of them, and have them sitting there ready to go. And anyone that has a 1911 or even really any 45 caliber or pistol, big full-size automatic pistol, they can buy that from me and it'll fit every single pistol. Unlike this one. Okay, this is also for a pistol. It's for a medium frame automatic pistol, and it's wet molded. You can, I don't know if you can see in there, but you could actually see where I used where the gun went in there, and I got the leather wet, wrapped the gun in saran wrap so that it wouldn't rust, and I stuck it in there, and I pushed it all way in there, and then I let it dry. And now this holster will only fit that actual model. It will not fit any other gun, even any medium gun, because they're all a little bit different how they're made. The sights are made different, the slide is different, so it won't perfectly fit any gun. So that's what's cool about this one. This one will fit any gun. Yeah, see this eagle, talking about tooling now. If that was really, really wet when I tooled it, all that would be all mush looking. It wouldn't be crisp. And I know that's not the greatest tooling in the world right there. For me, this is mine, and it's good enough, right? And I'm a little better now than I was when I put this on there. But it actually looks like eagle. I mean, you can tell it's an eagle, and you can tell it's coming in to grab a fish out of the lake or something, right? And I love tooling. This is the part I love about leather. That's the part I love. I mean, I love tooling, and that's why it's important to me on them how wet the leather is and how or dry. You know, I like it to be in the perfect moisture level where I get, like on this one, this was really hard. I mean, this is really hard. Look at this one. It's the same eagle, but it's a lot smaller. And then you use the antique. Like, if I didn't use the antique in there, you would hardly be able to see that eagle. But the antique goes into your cut and your tooling, and you can see the eagle. And that's not the greatest eagle again, but it looks like an eagle that's flying and looks like it's coming in for a landing, you know, or grab up a fish out of the lake. But yeah, I'm all over the map. It's just, I get the leather over in Clovis. There's a leather store called Tandy's Leather. I've been going there since I was a kid. That's where my dad bought his tools and everything. I buy everything from Tandy's Leather, and I go in the store. A lot of people, they don't have a leather store near them, and they have to buy online, and they're at the whim of whatever the leather company they're buying from sends them. And I don't like that. If even if I had to drive 200 miles to go to a leather store, I would, because I want to be able to go and look at the leather, right? I want to see what it is, what the leather looks like on the front and the back. How many scars does it have? Every cow, there's no two cows the same. So some of them got into the barbed wire, and there's lots of little holes and thin spots where they rubbed up against trees and barbed wire. And then there's some where they were bought and sold a few times, and they have several brands on them. I like to use the brands, but some people don't. But when you buy online, you're at the whim of whatever they send you, and you don't get to hand pick it. When I go to the Tandy Leather store and there's a stack of 20 hides and all the different thicknesses, like this is thick, real thick, but they're all different. All the leathers are different. Like these aren't that thick. What I'm using right here is not as thick as that. Let me see if I can get it. You see what I mean? That's thin compared. So there's all the different thicknesses, and the thicknesses, like I like to use this thickness for belts, holsters, knife sheaths. Then the thinner ones, they're for stuff like this, little things, bracelets, all different kind of stuff. On this one, I have thick, and then I have this part right here, and I glue them together, and then I have a lining. And I do the same thing with belts and stuff like that, if the people order it like that. If they want things lined, then I line it with a thinner leather. Like this is unlined, right? And you can tell it's unlined. This is the unfinished backside. This is the actual front part of your skin. This is this part. And that would be that, like with this one. Back to this one again. This one is lined. It's calf leather, but it's lined. And you can see that it's not the you can actually see in there where the gun fit in there perfect, I think, if I don't move it. And then, like, here's the mag pouch. It's thinner, right? A lot thinner, not lined. And then now this part right here, you see where the snap goes in through there? When I make knife sheaths and pistols, I'll cut a little round circle of thin leather, and I'll put it over where that snap comes through, and glue it and sew it onto the liner. Because I'll put the snap, like on this one, you can see the snap, okay? But if I left the back of that snap, when you put your gun in and out, or your knife, whatever it is you're making it for, it'll scratch, right? So you can see where it goes in there, where it is. But I lined it after I put the snap, right? Lined it after. So now that won't damage whatever it is I'm putting in there, a gun or a knife or whatever. Just a little bit of details, and that'll make it last for a very, very long time. A very, very, very long time. Now, if I would have not had a background in leather, because I just barely really came back. It hasn't been a whole year since I've been back making things with leather. If I wouldn't have known what I was doing, and I was actually a new leather crafter, I wouldn't have a clue on all this stuff that I'm showing you right now. Like on, like you can see this one starting to come back. This is where I would start tooling it. When it looks like that is about when I would start tooling this. And it's looking like that. But if you're a newbie or new person crafter, you don't know. It's trial and error. I'm not saying I know everything, but and I'm still learning every single time I'm learning on. Even if I've made 100 of them, I still learn something different on each one. And you have to have patience because a lot of times what you see in here in your noggin doesn't come out on what you're actually trying to do with the leather. And I'm sure that's with everything. Like, have you ever, if you're not an artist, you've ever sat down and tried to draw somebody's face, right? I can't even draw a stick figure good. I'm not an artist at all. Like the eagles on the holster, that's somebody else's drawing, and I just, or a picture even, and I just put it on that tracing paper, and then I trace it onto the leather, and then I tool it. I'm not an artist though. I can't draw an eagle, but I can take a 2D image tracing and turn it into something only because I'm not really drawing it. If I had to draw that, I wouldn't be trying to do that, that's for sure. Hi, Ivy, how are you? Yeah, I get all the leather from Tandy's. I get all the snaps, buckles, tools, everything from Tandy's. And I've sat out here working on things, and it takes you a little while. Like this is going to take me a little while. I can't just sit down and make that Santa Claus pop out. It's going to take me a while, right? I'm using this little tool to knock that down, that edge down. It's going to take me a while. And I sit out here thinking about things, and I think when I was retired out of the casino and I had all the time in the world. I went from like 14-hour days, 6 days a week, to 24/7 not having anything to do. Why didn't I pick up leather again? I mean, I would be so far advanced. That was 24 years ago. April 1st. What a joke, huh? April 1st will be 24 years since I almost lost my leg and I died on the operating table and changed my life. 24 years. Why didn't I do that? Why? I keep asking myself why. I still don't know why. All I know is when I decided that I needed that holster for that pistol, that's been like, I can't believe I fell in love with leather all over again, and it was almost like starting over in that I didn't have the skills anymore of, cutting everything smoothly or tooling everything how I could see it with my brain, and I didn't forget the steps and all that. I just I couldn't make my hands make like I used to make. And actually I still can't. I'll probably never be able to tool and do the things that I used to do when I was younger. And I mean that's with everything, right? Like I can't hike like I was when I was younger. I'm sure even if I was total healthy, I would be doing less things when I was younger. So I'll probably never be able to, but that's how it is. Yeah, try it, Ed. Try things like there's some things I never tried that I want to try. Like I want to try to make a briefcase. I never made a briefcase. I've never really made purses. I've made two purses in my whole life, and they weren't that great back then, and I haven't made one. I think the last one I made I was like 15 years old. That was like 50 years ago was the last time I made a purse, and it's intimidating to think like I made that tablet kickstand. I never made one of those. I mean, they didn't even have tablets, and it was real intimidating. You had the template to cut out the pieces, but you didn't have any directions on where the pieces go, how they go together, not even a stitch line, right? You had to come up with where the stitches go. The whole thing was without directions. And when I bought it, I didn't realize that a YouTube it had a YouTube address on it that would take me to a video showing how to do it, how to put it together. I mean, and that's all too. I mean, you just watch this video, but I was already almost done with it when I ran into a problem of the stitching on how something goes together and how do you make the little flat part. It didn't come with a template for the little hinge piece, right? I'm like, well, I couldn't figure out how you attach it. And I mean, I had an idea kind of, but I was afraid I was going to really mess it up. And I was started asking around people. Nobody has put those together. And I finally came across the video, and then I realized I made all kinds of mistakes. It doesn't take away from the utility of the item. It'll work forever flawlessly for years. It just look like an amateur did it. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. As long as it does what was created to do, there's nothing wrong with that. And every time you do like when I used to make holsters, they look like shit. I'm gonna tell you, they look like shit. But every one you do, each one after that, it's better and better and better and better. And pretty soon it looks like, some master craftsman made them or close to it. I'm not even close to that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not even close. But the things I make and create, they'll last for a long time, even though they might not look all that great. But hey, I have so much fun putting them together, and I don't care what it looks like at all. I mean, I do. I care. But only I'm not going to get hung up on it so bad that I'll stop because it doesn't look right. And a lot of people do. They get frustrated. They're perfectionists, and everything has to be just so. And if it doesn't come out like that, they just throw it away. Like, I'm selling everything. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I know so many people that's done that. Don't. It's so cool to get into a project and take your time and get just so buried into it, nothing else matters in the world at that moment, and you have a lot of time to think about things. And that's mostly what I do as well. I get all caught up in my thoughts and thinking about things like April 8th, you know. All right, Digger, you take care, man. I got to get going too. Um, I got to go in the house and do some spring cleaning stuff. Ugh. But I want to finish doing the Santa Claus belt, and I don't want to make you guys sit through that. But I thought I would jump on a whim and say hi to everybody. It's a beautiful Sunday. I hope your world's is going as good as my world. Get yourself prepared for April 8th. Even if nothing happens, be ready because something could happen. And I love you guys. I want to pray for you all and everyone that can hear this. Be blessed, abundantly blessed in every area of your life. Be healed abundantly, like rejuvenated. Cancers die, back pain heal in Jesus' name. Legs grow back, arms grow back, eyes be 2020. In your relationships, I pray that your family and friends and everything, that anything that's going wrong, you abundantly be blessed in your relationships, whether it be your wife, your girlfriend, your family, whatever it is, be blessed abundantly in your finances. I pray blessings on your finances. I pray that your debt magically go away in Jesus' name right now. And so everybody enjoy your weekend, the rest of it, and you have a really good time. And I love seeing you guys, and I'll see you soon.